And we're back for like the 15th fucking time.
Yankum, if you keep coming back, I swear to God, it won't make that sheet stick anymore on your mom.
Gross.
Alright,
I like your face.
So we were talking about the Ralph Lauren Championship.
And, like I said...
Does anybody get that?
No.
Yeah, it's like polo. The thing with the... Yeah. Isn't that used to be a prestigious title? I mean, there's been some like pretty big name guys that have held that title.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's supposed to be like a really good thing, but apparently they fucked it up so bad that...
Oh, you know, Calvin Klein and his fancery.
And Tommy Hilfiger. Don't even bring him up.
Are we talking about the U.S. Championship?
I think we're talking about Coco Chanel.
You know, if they ever do let the wrestlers, which, given that it's Cena, they should have done this. If they ever do let the wrestlers get endorsement deals, have Cena be a Calvin Klein model, because he already wears the underwear during pretty much every match. If you pay attention to his waistband, like I do.
Coke.
That's lewd.
Without marshmallows.
Anyway, so Cena's getting the title. We all know that. He's making Rusev tap out, in fact. Or maybe not. Maybe he'll just pin Rusev, and then Rusev can kind of half boast that he's never tapped out, and that'll continue the whole thing.
We'll see if Lana shows up to do anything in it.
Or I guess the flip side, that he's never been pinned or whatever.
Right.
And that would challenge Cena to actually, not use the STF.
Or something like that, yep. Let's move on here. Sting versus Triple H.
Sting's first actual match in the WWE against the Lord of all shovels. I don't know about this one.
Well, I don't know how Sting doesn't win. Oh yeah, I don't see how it doesn't. It's not a good match, or really a great match. Maybe not match of the night, maybe not amazing, but a good to great match that Sting wins. And what else can you really say about it? To be honest.
Yeah, best Sting wore the shirt.
I'm worried that Trips is going to try some sort of burial crap.
Yeah, I do think Sting wears a shirt. Because he did it every late appearance with TNA, and he, unless he gets some kind of gear that looks like a shirt that's more of a one-piece than, not the one-piece with the straps and the exposed midriff, or chest, but, covers everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was that outfit he wore when he was in WCW, and he did have an outfit that had shoulders and was made of lycra-like material, I believe. Been a little while, I can't remember.
Well, WWE cares more about appearance than TNA, so certainly if he's...
Who? Better yet, how awesome the entrances are going to be for this match. My God.
There's going to be some pretty killer fucking entrances. I'm looking forward to them.
Yep, we'll see if we get another Skull King thing out of Trips, and exactly...
He's going to have some kind of Terminator thing going on.
And what pro-ish afterworld type stuff we're going to see out of Sting. Ooh! 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 They should, Go ahead.
They should wheel out the old Nitro set for his entrance. Because they probably have both of them in the warehouse, the big logo one and the classic scaffold.
I really don't think that's going to happen, but
I would be okay with that.
The eventual Taker versus Sting fight. What if Sting gets Taker's superpowers?
They'll run off into the sunset together because it's the two of them and they're old. That's really the end of story with that. Sting wins, there's no question. However, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of our particular podcast. Thank you all for listening, and we're not going to talk about, that main event thing, because that's just too traumatic.
Oh, no, you don't. Are you kidding me? We now have a light of hope. We now have a smidgen, just a smidgen, of reason to believe it's not going to turn out as crappy and eventual as everyone
He's shooting, brother.
to the doldrums of their soul believes it's going to be. We have now that Lesnar has resigned, now that he is resigned, we now have a way out. That baby girl is not the end-all and be-all and the inevitable. We now have a small glimmer of hope that Lesnar might kick his ass.
Well, it's not going to be a one-sided affair. It'll be what they want it to be, a hard-hitting contest between two big guys. When people say this WrestleMania card looks bad on paper, they don't really mean that. They mean the build looks bad, the predictability looks bad. But the thing is, this is probably, and this is a problem with a lot of other matches, and I've said this before, but this is probably, now that we've had the last Raw pass, this is the least interaction that two WrestleMania main event opponents have had probably ever. There was the handshake during the canceled Raw, the face-to-face interview thing, and there was the abomination last night on Raw, where they kind of both grabbed the title and then they just cut the show. And to me, that doesn't say...
Fucking 2-year-olds.
It doesn't say incompetence. It says cowardice. Cowardice that everything people are saying about Reigns not being ready is true. So, with the news that Lesnar has signed an extension, a new deal, whatever, it really does beg the question, quite frankly. Will they, and there's been so many questions, will Reigns win the Rumble? Will Reigns beat Daniel Bryan and retain his spot? And the answer's been yes this whole time. But, this is the defining moment.
Remember, he signed this last night at Raw. I'm pretty sure they had a talk this Monday about Sunday and how it's going to go down. I wouldn't doubt that him keeping that title is part of that. And if they do want to go down that road of Brock Lesnar versus The Rock at 32,
Steve, motherfucker.
yeah, I see him winning.
I think he's definitely going to win and keep it for a while, but I don't know about Brock versus Rock for the title at 32. I think you'll probably have somebody like Cena take it off, or maybe even Orton, because Orton hasn't held it in a long while.
Orton versus Brock Lesnar? My God. Holy shit. That's amazing.
Well, of course, Orton wins. It's sort of like, because Orton is your new Stone Cold, so he wins.
He's never fought before. They never had a match. Orton and Brock, right?
And that's fantastic, because people would pay to see that. You're gonna your $9.99 subscription to the WWE Network. That's $9.99. If you didn't know, it's $9.99. You should get it. It's $9.99. You're gonna see your subscriptions just explode for Lesnar versus Orton, because it's never happened before. And then you make it like a no DQ or a hardcore match or something, and then that's how you get Orton the win over. He hits him with a chair like 97 times, and it's like, oh, look at, the only way to beat Brock Lesnar is if you beat beat the living shit out of him with a bunch of objects and like handcuff his, arms to the rope and, do all this stuff to make it possible, because otherwise you just can't.
To kind of counter my own argument here,
Because it's not a "we get serious." It'll make a Red's defense.
well, they've invested so much. Like I said, they've invested so much into this Lesnar push, or excuse me, Reigns push. He did win the Rumble. He did beat Bryan. He's done all. He's punked out Mark Henry. He's punked out basically everybody he's talked to. They had Heyman put him over practically the entire wrestling world. I mean, with all this investment, despite the fact that Lesnar is staying, do they? I don't know.
It's possible.
Will they really?
It's very possible.
They gotta. I mean, this is what they've been planning for. A year. And can they really not pull the trigger?
Well, remember, there's a little, very small thing we tend to forget a lot about, thanks to someone's pictures getting leaked. He still has that little gold briefcase.
Oh, that's true. But that's a pretty interesting point, because anyone who's held that during a WrestleMania there's always been the speculation that they'll be the one to cash in at the end of WrestleMania. But this whole thing has become about, it's so much about Reigns, and it's so much about Lesnar. Reigns being the guy that nobody wants in that spot, and Lesnar being the guy that maybe he's leaving, and now he's not, and, just all this media around this match that people have kind of forgotten about Rollins and the Money in the Bank. So, could they pull the trigger there, or just
very
save
possible?
It?
I would love you do. If you want to do it right, you still want Reigns to win. Have Reigns win, but he's just dead. He's
dirty.
Dead, right? Then just have Seth run down the aisle, say, "Hey, it's time. Cash in. 1, 2, 3, bam." Have him pull an Edge.
I think ultimately it's actually kind of hard to pick a winner at this point. I mean, if it wasn't for Lesnar's announcement, I would say, 90% Reigns, 10% Lesnar. Now I think it's straight down the middle.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's essentially thirds because of the wild card. And you gotta think, it's getting close to that time. Money in the Bank comes, that contract's null and void. So it's very possible Sunday or Monday we may have a new WWE champion in Seth Rollins.
All that being said, I don't think it's going to be a good match.
No.
I think it's going to be, it's going to be heavily received by the crowd, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There have been times when WrestleMania main events haven't lasted very long, haven't been that exciting. Triple H versus Orton, or the Cena Orton Triple H match, I think it was.
24?
Yeah, I think so. And other things on the card were much more interesting. This main event has it kind of has that TMZ value where you want to see the train wreck essentially, and who knows? They could very well, if they surprised us and gave us a really great match, a really tough, rough contest, then more power to them. But ultimately, it's kind of hard to say, because so many people have, danced around the idea of not watching anymore and this and that, and the company's given them, every reason to not to watch, really. Not just what they put on TV every week, but the stars that have left, the allegations that have come out, the practices that, nobody really liked, except for them. So, if they do pull that trigger and Reigns goes over clean even, and nothing else happened, Rollins doesn't cash in, this and that, I dare say a lot of people might finally have that excuse. But I digress. This it's WrestleMania. The proof is in the pudding. You just don't know until it happens.
Mm-hmm. It's the most exciting time of the year, even though it sucks.
And again, they really haven't crafted a bad card here. It's just all the negative hype surrounding it is what kind of kills the vibe. But ladder match gonna be great to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Battle Royal gonna be silly but fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Sting's first match should have been Taker, but still gonna be a great contest. I don't think anybody is really arguing that it won't be.
Taker Wyatt has a little bit of merit to it.
And, of course, Reigns and Lesnar, what will be the outcome of this hand-picked future star and hand-licked domination star in Lesnar?
What did you just say?
I said domination star in Lesnar.
I think you said something else, dog.
Well, that was very fun. The end of our 37-minute time limit.
Yeah, I think we said all we can say until we see the actual pay-per-view. We'll be back next week to shit all over that.
Yes, indeed. But now it's time for the...
Oh, I'm supposed to play the sound.
The sound? The sound?
I don't know where Gunner went, so,
apparently he is embarrassed by my awesome prediction skills.
Either that or it was the hand licking. I'll just tell you right now.
Alright, well, it's time for the Dairy Queen drive-thru, and this week with the ratings is me, Isaac Yankum. So Impact, last Friday's episode, featuring Angle versus Lashley for the TNA World Title, drew 403,000. That's up 19% from last week's 338,000. Cool. I mean, that's kind of a pay-per-view match, but I think at this point, they're pretty much just doing TV, aren't they?
Pretty much.
Yeah, so, I mean, normally I'd be like, ha ha ha, look at TNA giving away pay-per-view matches on TV like dumbasses. Welcome to WCW 2000, assholes. But I think in this case, like, that's the best thing they could possibly do in order to get the ratings that they need to justify still existing. And a 20% jump is pretty friggin' good. So there's that. SmackDown, they scored a 1.91. That's up from the previous 1.83. And Raw drew 4.19 million viewers, up 7% from last week's 3.919, which makes me happy to say that my pre-Raw prediction of them scoring barely a 2, if not less, false. And now it's time for the birthdays! And... fuck.
You
Net gesture.
just this once. Being we have guests, I am more than happily...
No, it doesn't work that way.
I agree.
It has to be you.
You're just worming your way out of it on
No.
you want to pronounce it.
Look, this is what we do every week. This is how it works. So I'm just going to ask you, please sound the names out phonetically, and you will be fine. But as soon as you start adding syllables and letters and transposing them, I am going to come to your house and burn it down.
Incandescent whack-a-mole. With the birthdays, person, place, or thing, 5 news bits. On the 25th of this month, we have a Jumbo Surutra. Jumbo Surutra.
Close enough. There's no R, but okay.
Yes, there is. I'm looking right at it.
Saruta.
Ruta. Okay. On the 26th, we have Sullivan Grenier.
Sylvan Grenier.
Sylvan Grenier, okay. And also on the 26th, we have Mike Mondo. On the 27th, we have a man who I think should be in the WWE Hall of Fame, Draws. Also, we have one half of the world's greatest tag team, Charlie Haas. We have Hideo Itami from End of the Rising Sun. Yeah, I don't think I can goof that up too bad. And also on the 27th, we have Octagon. That's it? Just Octagon? That's okay. Also, okay, but for me, there's always an if. Anyway, to continue, on the 28th, we have Island Boy Eskimo. That's a real wrestler.
ECMO.
ECMO. Really? Okay.
There's no S or I anywhere in there.
On the 28th, we have Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, WWE Hall of Famer. Then none other than the African Dream himself, Akeem, who I like better as the one-man gang. And none other than the Warlord. Then on the 29th, we have the leader of the Freebirds, Michael Purely Sexy Hayes. Then on the 30th, we have Trent Beretta, Zach Gowen, Mike Rotunda, also known as Erwin R. Shyster, and none other than the legendary venomous Jake the Snake Roberts. Rounding out this week on the 31st, we have Allison Danger and, Japanese name, warning, Naoya Ogawa. Naoya Ogawa. I think I got that right.
That's a Y in the first name, but I'll give it to you.
Naya?
Yeah, I would. Yeah. So this is what happens when Gunner leaves. This is his fault. And now for this week in wrestling history with Mega
The Gimp's a cow now?
Yes, this week in wrestling history, circa 1952, where Emil and Ernie Dusick defeat Mr. X and Mr. XX to become the first Nebraska Tag Team Champions in Omaha, Nebraska. Jump to 1984, where Ric Flair defeated Harley Race to win the NWA World Title in New Zealand, one of a pair of forgotten title changes. And in 1991, the WWF presented the Monster 15-match WrestleMania 7 before 16,158 fans at the Sports Arena in Los Angeles, California. The event got a 2.8 buy rate. It was originally scheduled to be held at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. However, it was decided to move the event to the arena next door. The WWE stating that a threat had been issued toward the company due to Sergeant Slaughter's Iraqi sympathizer character, as this was just weeks after Operation Desert Storm. However, the reality of the situation is that low ticket sales at the Memorial Coliseum forced the move. Hulk Hogan defeated Sergeant Slaughter in the main event to begin his latest third WWF Championship reign. And that was this weekend. Wrestling history.
This night. Omega Fall this night.
Well,
Now it's time for the Happy Trails.
and get out of here.
Happy trails to the friends, family, and fans of Perro Aguayo Jr., who tragically died after suffering cardiac arrest brought on by a cervical stroke, which was suffered due to cervical spine trauma in a freak incident during the main event of a Crash Wrestling event in Tijuana. He will be missed.
Absolutely, los perros de amor for life.
Certainly the worst thing that can happen in a wrestling match, but these freakish things do happen. It's a risk of every performer, and again, gives you a renewed respect for what they do. Sometimes every single night.
MVP put it best on Twitter.
What he did?
He sent out a very nice tweet saying, "Hey guys, we step in the ring every day, knowing these risks, and we're okay with it. If you haven't said, you haven't called your mom and said I love you, haven't done that yet, do it. Tell that somebody, because you don't know when you're dead. You don't know when it's happening."
So, real quick, what do we want to watch this week leading up to WrestleMania?
Well, I'm going to go back and obviously steal, before anybody else gets a chance to say it, the Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler match from last night.
Okay, I'll go next. I'll just straight up be a lazy bastard and say the main event of last year's WrestleMania, where we all had a renewed sense of hope when Daniel Bryan won the WWE Championship. It was great. It was amazing. And now you have to ponder how in the hell, besides, of course, DB's injuries, did we get from there?
Okay.
As for me, it's a tough one.
What are we talking about again?
I'll tell you what.
This week leading up to WrestleMania.
If I could, I want to say the PWG preview video from Out of Nowhere. What about you, kid?
Well, we got a pretty awesome local indie event in Orlando this weekend locally. Have you guys heard of the I Believe in Wrestling promotion
He's plugging
in Orlando, Florida?
He's plugging.
Yep, yes indeed.
Yeah, they got a pretty badass show going on this weekend. Might check that out. Oh, wait a minute. That's not about... Fuck the Hall of Fame.
Listen, we say things that aren't... We don't care.
Well, no, actually...
Well, here's the
we can
thing.
still watch it. We got the network on our phone.
Right. And if you don't want to see Connor the Crusher get inducted into the Hall of Fame, you're probably a heartless dick.
We're sorry. No, we're
That's not accuracy.
kidding. We're kidding.
Relax.
It's fine. I'm just rubbing you. All right. That's it for tonight's show. The fucking... Oh, I'm sorry, Omega BR. You were being so quiet. I forgot you were there.
Well, you always do, and I must say it's very offensive.
But speaking of fences...
Well played, Matt Chester. 1 point.
What would you like to watch leading up to WrestleMania, Fearless Leader?
No, I don't have one.
Oh, yeah. You have one.
Well, how about Sting's first match post WCW? If you can find it, it was actually for the World Wrestling All-Stars in late 2002. It was during a European tour, and it was Sting and Lex Luger versus Buff Bagwell and Malice. So it's like nothing ever happened, really.
Nice.
Weird. All right, so I guess that does it for tonight then. Since Gunner has gone AWOL, and I don't blame him because that's not been one of our better incidences going here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the plugs out of the way. You can find us on.
I can't speak for myself, but I thought I was great.
You can't speak for yourself?
What are you, fucking mute now? Why can't Netjester be mute? That'd be a nice slower pace.
We're out.
Just not your good.
All right. Say goodbye to the tag team, boys. All right. So you can find us on smarksnark.com and also timely.tv/r/get-serious. We put the live broadcast in there every week now. We're on YouTube at youtube.com/smarksnark. We have facebook.com/smarksnark. Unless Gunner's doing something with that, probably nothing with that. Because Facebook is terrible. They want you to pay for updates, and we won't get into that. Twitter.com/smarksnark. We do live tweet during Raw and the pay-per-views, and feel like I'm forgetting something.
What about our phone number?
Oh yeah, if you want to call into the show, you could do that at 1-812-408-WOO. I figured out that it rhymes.
It only took you a couple of weeks.
You didn't figure it out either, asshole. 9666. That's 1-812-408-9666. You can call into the show. You can add us on Skype, Sirius Podcasts. You don't have to add us if you want to connect to the show through Skype. You can just Skype us straight out. I've got it set up to auto accept. We're not screening anybody's calls. Anybody could get on the air. Anything could happen. It's totally... can I make another WCW joke, or should I go with TNA this time?
It's up to you.
I'm going to make another WCW joke. It's totally Vince Russo running WCW.
Ooh, Venom-tastic.
Alright, so that's it for us. We, of course, wish you the best in all your past, present, and future endeavors.
Remember, there is a brief glimmer of hope.
Good night, Palo Alto.